Hello friends, this is the Vookcast. It's episode number 126, if you were wondering. My name's Stephen. I'm co-hosting today, and my other co-host is Daniel. He's here.
Hello!
Hi Daniel.
Greetings and salutations.
It's been a while, again.
Yes.
Sorry about that again. But, hopefully things will jump back on track now. And we figured we'd come back and get, the crew back together, or some of the crew back together, because a couple of Nintendo Directs happened, and we really should be talking about those. There's a lot that's been going on, I guess.
5-minute Nintendo Direct and then
It counts. It counts. They announced something, at least.
Why couldn't they actually put that 5-minute Direct into the big Direct?
I don't even know, hey. Let's jump right into the news as we do. So the first thing, I don't think this is in order at all of how the Direct went, but it's just in order of what's on my page, so I'm going to go that way. Star Fox Zero has a release date, which is exciting.
Woo.
So it's out in Australia and I think everywhere on the 3rd of April. And the first run of the physical games come with Star Fox Guard, which is, seems like we've talked about it ages and ages ago when they did that Project Guard prototype. Was it this year's E3 or the one before?
The one before, back when Star Fox was shown behind closed doors.
Ah, yes. So yeah, we talked about it then, and I think one of us sort of thought maybe this could be a Star Fox game in disguise, and then I probably said, no, that's a dumb idea. And here we are.
Apparently it had Star Fox logos hidden around in it. So.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's a thing where apparently you instead of everyone's favourite character Slippy, you're everyone's favourite character Slippy's uncle? I think it is.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's a tower defense style game.
Like tower defense, where you've got all the camera views up on the screen, and then you've got some specific controls down on the main page, and so it's can be played kind of collaboratively, I guess. You could have a whole bunch of people around the TV looking at the cameras and going, oh, there's a bloke in that camera, you better have a look. And that could be fun, maybe.
Yeah. Is it designed for multiplayer?
I don't think they've said anything specifically about Star Fox Guard, but I remember when they were talking about like Project Guard, they were saying that it was designed for multiplayer even if people aren't holding onto a controller. So like the whole, everyone's helping out by watching the screens and screaming at the person with the gamepad.
Okay.
So, that could be fun.
I was just thinking more of like an asynchronous thing that they sort of dabbled with like Nintendo Land. It's like someone holding the controller does stuff while everyone with like Wii remotes is just sort of trying to move around and dodge what the guy with the gamepad's doing.
Well, actually, speaking of, one thing I remember they mentioned was that there's you can sort of set up, because it's a tower defense-y kind of game, you can set up your own, template of enemies that would come and the paths that they take, and you can upload that to, I assume, the Miiverse and sort of share that around and challenge your friends to defeat your dastardly set of enemies. So that's a neat little feature that wasn't there before. That comes with it comes with the first editions of Star Fox Zero, and some images say it's a download code, and a press release in Australia, I think, said that it would be on a disc, so who knows there? I guess we'll find out when it comes out.
I'm pretty sure most of them showed it as like the box that Star Fox was like a bigger box that would sort of like the Bayonetta sort of deal where it comes with 2 DVD cases.
But looking at the DVD case for Star Fox Guard, it's got like a little message on the front saying download code. For some reason, it's just a big empty box, I assume, with a slip of paper in there, a slippy of paper in there.
Okay. I see what you did there.
And apparently if you don't get it in time, you can just buy it separately on the eShop later on. Who knows how much it'll cost, but that's an option if you're a late one.
The cynic in me wonders if this is them going, well, we know that Star Fox Zero isn't a full sort of game in this day and age, so we're just giving you more game, like another game, to sort of maybe flesh it all out. Yeah,
maybe. It's sort of, I guess, it seems kind of convenient. They had the whole guard concept, and they've clearly been working on it for a little while, and I guess it made sense to, have it as an extra part of Star Fox Zero. I would have thought, I don't know, it would have made more sense to have it as, I don't know, like an unlockable minigame inside Star Fox Zero rather than its own separate thing, but I guess it looks like more value when it's its own separate game, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Or maybe, you know, maybe if someone just wants to play Star Fox Guard and doesn't want to buy the full game, then that's an option.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Also, Star Fox Zero, they showed off a fair bit more, unless you had more to say.
Looks better now.
Yeah, it really does. Like, I still question whether it sort of seems like a full-priced game. It's very sort of, in structure at least, it looks a lot like, you know, every previous Star Fox game where you'll just play through it in an hour or two and then go play through it in a different way. But, I mean, you know, that was still, you know, back good fun on N64 and the 3DS re-release. So, it's, you know, it could be fun. I don't know if I'm going to get it straight up, but we'll see how we go.
I mean, I think, again, that's why they've chucked Star Fox Guard with it, because it wouldn't be a full sort of game in this day and age. I mean, Star Fox games are sort of really hard to make up to the level of what people expect out of games these days.
Yeah, I think adding the different variety to the ships and stuff certainly helps.
I mean, you look at Command. Like they tried to make a much longer game out of that by offering like different like lots of different storylines to go down. If you want to hear about how well that worked, go back and listen to our previous episode all about Star Fox Command. Yeah. And I can't remember how long Star Fox Assault was, but I don't think it was terribly long. Maybe like 5 or 6 hours or something. Okay. 6 hours according to How Long to Beat. And then you've got like Star Fox Adventures, so... Yeah, and, you know, that's an entirely different kind of game, I guess. It was probably longer than it needed to be. Yeah. The one thing that they announced that looked kind of interesting, you know, it doesn't add a huge amount to the game or anything, but, you know, using the Fox amiibo from Smash Bros. Unlocks the Super NES style R-Wing, so, you know, cut with like 7 polygons or something, but it's, you know, pulled straight from the Super NES game and chucked in a high-definition Wii U game. It looks kind of ridiculous and great. Yeah, they're going back to that a bit, actually. Star Fox Super NES for this. Whereas like everyone seems to look at Star Fox 64 as the one that gets the more... Like, people get more nostalgic about 64, whereas the original sort of gets ignored a bit. Well, 64, like, for a lot of purposes, was kind of a remake of the first one. Oh, yeah. I guess, so it might as well be the same, kind of. Well, yeah. Star Fox. I mean, it looks, you know, as I said, it looks a lot better that they've sort of fleshed the details out a bit. I still wish there was a bit more going on in the background, just to make it look like you're in the middle of a big battle going on. But this is all stuff that doesn't really add to the gameplay at all. Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to get my hands on it. Cautiously optimistic, I guess. Platinum don't make bad games, usually. Yeah, going to say, they have made bad games, but surely when they've got Nintendo, you know, telling them or assisting them, I suspect they're going to, you know, they're going to put their best people on it, or some good people on it at least. It's not going to be the Legend of Korra team, hopefully. Well, I'm expecting a lot from this, but I mean, I think Star Fox is one of those series that they've never really tapped fully into the potential of it. Even Star Fox 64, there was still more scope there, and amongst all of the Star Fox games, if you sort of combine elements from all of them, there's a really great game in there. But well, it's interesting that people were clamoring for a new Star Fox, like, all the way through the Wii generation and the Wii U generation. It wasn't lots of people, but a subset of fans were just really wanting it, and I guess, you know, now they've got it. It's hopefully exactly what they want. Yep. Well, yes. But this is the internet. People will complain when they don't get what they want. Oh, of course. That's why we're here to be positive and fun. Yes. Speaking of positive and fun and something that's really exciting, Super Nintendo games are on the 3DS Virtual Console now, if you have a new 3DS, very specifically. Sorry to everyone else. But yeah, no, it's pretty exciting. You do unfortunately have to buy them again, even if you have bought them on your Nintendo account on the Wii U, which it's a bit of a bummer, kind of expected, but what are you going to do? But, yeah, they look, there's a whole bunch of games coming out. If you
2 per week, and if you buy one, then you can get the second one for half price. So we've got the ones that are out now, Super Mario World and Earthbound. And next week, or probably this week by the time you hear this, it's the Link to the Past and Super Metroid. And gosh damn, I'm going to be getting that one immediately.
Yes.
Week after that, F-Zero and Super Mario Kart. And the final that's been announced so far, and hopefully not the final overall, will be a week with Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2, which is also kind of cool.
Funny not 3. But I guess they'll probably just bring that out later.
Yeah, I think they're just, they're doing 2 a week, so hopefully they do more weeks and include Donkey Kong Country 3 and maybe Yoshi's Island in 1 week. How amazing would that be?
Yes. I hope with Earthbound, I'd like to see Earthbound 0 show up on the 3DS Virtual Console as well, because that's not there.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's weird that it's not on one.
The 3DS Virtual Console has been dead for like the last 2 years. Up until, I think, Pokemon was the first title in over a year.
Sure, it feels like the last few years of the Wii again.
Well, the Wii sort of, even then, the Wii probably had a game a week, because SNK is just like, well, no one else is putting stuff on here. Let's just chuck all of our Neo Geo stuff on here.
Yeah, true.
No one will buy it, but there are so many Neo Geo games on the Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah, I did notice that, sort of going back through and re-downloading stuff on a new console a little while ago. Man, there's so many SNK or the Neo Geo games.
For all the hate the Virtual Console gets for not having... the Virtual Console is a service that even now they haven't fully tapped the potential of it, but you just look at like the Wii and it's like, okay, there's all of this amazing stuff here that no one really looks at.
Like if you want to play old games and you don't really want to go down legal grey areas of emulation, then there's a lot there. Like there's not very many, excuses to have to pirate anymore. It's all there. It's all reasonably priced. It's really nice.
You just suck it up and just go to the Wii mode on the Wii U, and it's like, you could just, SNK, just so many good fighting games on there, like stuff even up to Last Blade.
Totally, yeah. And one good thing about the 3DS Super Nintendo games, especially compared to the NES 3DS Virtual Console games, that's a mouthful, is that they have an original resolution mode, which is something that bothered me so much about the NES games on 3DS. I'm sure you would know well, having played lots of NES games on the 3DS.
I never noticed.
Well, I do. Basically,
I'm just bad. I don't notice frame rates unless they get really bad. Like you and James were like, could tell if it dropped from 60 to 50, and I'm like, still pictures moving.
Well,
what am I looking for?
I don't know. It's just something that it didn't make games unplayable by any means, but sort of going back and trying to play Super Mario Bros. 3 on my 3DS, it was cool, but because it was stretched just enough to be like to fill the screen, but it wasn't enough. Like the screen resolution isn't high enough to have like a clean, 2x scale. It's sort of every 1 pixel in the original game is kind of like 1.5 pixels, and it gets all weird and blurry. And yeah, I'm just so very happy that Super Nintendo games, you can have the original. So, I'm perfectly fine with having, a small black bar on the top and bottom if it looks, perfect and really nice, which it does. So it's going to mean I'll buy a lot more Super Nintendo games than I probably would have otherwise.
Still not as good as the original pixel mode for Game Boy Virtual Console.
No, not quite. But,
It's like, here's a Game Boy around your screen.
Yeah, that's pretty rad. It would be really cool if... there were borders and stuff, but I guess there never were in the original games. Maybe they could just put like a dumb CRT around it.
I was playing Tumble Pop, which is like a 3DS Virtual Console game, and I just decided to chuck the borders on it on a whim, and I'm like, I'm never taking this border off. It just looks so cool with that on there. The Japanese lineup also got announced for this.
Oh yes, they've got so many games, like the Mega Man X. I see, we think the same way.
Yes,
man.
Street Fighter Alpha 2.
The moment that the Mega Man X games come out, if they come out here, I'm buying those straight away. I can't think of anything that I want to play more on my 3DS than old Mega Man games.
Demon's Crest.
Oh yeah, it's a cool game.
Ghouls and Ghosts. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. And Konami, because they're a company that still exists.
Yeah.
The Castlevania games got shown off. I think Square Enix might come to the party because they're starting to bring games out. Like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance just came out. So, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully they all come here. With any luck, that'll be sort of an indicator of things to come, but I guess we'll find out after the 24th of March.
There has been a bit of whining about how it's not on the normal 3DS.
Yeah, that's true.
I can get where people are coming from, because I mean, even in my mind, clearly a 3DS is better than a Super Nintendo. It should be able to do it, but I mean, Nintendo's always been the company that if they can't do it 100% the way like perfect, they won't.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone sort of is able to play Super NES games on. You go back to old days with old emulators like ZS NES and stuff like that. You could play games on a computer that would probably be, as powerful as a 3DS, maybe not even. But every single game would have weird little hacks applied to it to make it work on on that sort of class of CPU. And Nintendo I guess they either have to do that to each individual game, or just say that no, the original 3DS isn't powerful enough to do it as accurately as they want. And I imagine that for as many people that are disappointed that they can't play it on a regular 3DS, there'd be even more vocal people if they bought it on the original 3DS and it wasn't perfect. When you pay money for it, you expect a certain level of quality, and it just, I guess, couldn't be there with Nintendo.
And also, I mean, I think Nintendo's, especially this Direct, to show Nintendo's really putting a lot of focus in the 3DS.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I get the feeling they want to try and make it last another year or two, so probably putting all their efforts into the new 3DS.
And I imagine development is a bit cheaper as well compared to Wii U. If they're going to allocate certain funds towards something, they'd probably put it towards the 3DS, A, because it's cheaper to make stuff for, and B, because how many more 3DSs are there out there in the world than Wii U's?
I mean, that said, the Wii U's not shy for Virtual Console.
Oh, no.
That's the other thing. People whining about Virtual Console. I'm like, why? You look at how on fire it is on the Wii U at the moment. It's like you're getting 2 or 3 games a week at this point.
Yeah.
So I think the lineup for this week's Wii U Virtual Console just got announced, and it's all 3. It's Super Mario Advance 1, 3, and 4.
And
all but Yoshi got announced.
And the Mario Bros. 3 one comes out with the extra content that came out with e-reader cards, so I'm definitely getting that just purely to play those levels. So it's a shame there's not more N64 games on the Virtual Console is my only disappointment, but what are you going to do?
Can I tell you my dream that I had the other day? I wasn't dreaming about it, but it's what
maybe.
I want Pokemon Stadium to come out on the Wii U Virtual Console, but be able to connect to the versions of Pokemon on your 3DS.
The red, blue, yellow on 3DS.
Yes.
Man, that'd be wonderful.
Yes.
I imagine there'd be people who buy Wii U's for that.
I have a feeling they might do it. It seems possible.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
This year being the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, makes sense. We should move on.
We should. Good plan. Next on the list, Fire Emblem Fates has a release date finally in Australia and Europe. How long's it been out in the US already?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. So we're not getting it till late May for some reason. My guess is having to translate it into French and German and various other languages. And I think they retranslate, even English, they do a relocalization because for different local, English is slightly different in different areas of the world. So that's unfortunate that there's a delay, but I can kind of see why they do it if they have to do so many languages.
It's also, just a matter of scheduling. It's like Nintendo Europe decided to go with Bravely Default early this year. America hasn't gotten that yet. They also, UK still doesn't have Yokai Watch, so they probably just want to space these games out. I think the ultimate goal for Nintendo should be you have one big game a month.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable.
That sort of works for stuff like this. You've just finished Bravely Default. Well, hey, look, here's Yokai Watch. Get into that, and then you've just finished Yokai Watch, and look, here's Fire Emblem.
Yeah, fair enough. And at the same time as the release date announcement, they confirmed that we're getting a special edition new 3DS with one side being black, one side being white for the 2 different warring families.
That's
I believe.
Racist. Wait, no, it's not.
But yeah, so that's pretty neat. I don't need a new 3DS, but if anyone else does, it's a real nice looking console. And as well as that, they, I guess, confirmed the special edition. We knew the special edition was happening, but we've got a price along with it. So it's $129.95, RRP at least. And it has the game, which is, from what I understand, all 3 of the games all on one cartridge, so you don't have to download any extra content or anything like that, which is super nice. And a soundtrack CD, an art book, and a steel case. So yeah, that's... I feel like if I was going to buy Fire Emblem Fates at all, that would be the one I'd do, just purely so I get all of Fire Emblem Fates on one cartridge instead of buying a bit of it and then downloading the rest. It just seems the nicer way to do it if you really want to play everything.
If it wasn't like totally sold out already, or apparently pre-orders have gone quick for it.
Dang, it'd be nice if they did that special edition just without all the extra stuff, because I'd be fine with it just the game, or just the games rather than all the extra stuff, and maybe that wouldn't be as rare.
That annoyed me with America. I wanted to get the special edition, but that sold out super quick.
Dang.
Okay, fine. I guess I'll just get one of the versions. I almost ordered both versions, but I'm like, no, that's just...
That's ridiculous.
No.
Well, no, I guess if you wanted it, I hope you've got it already.
Well, I mean, I've got one version, and then it's like $20 to get...
Like the downloaded parts?
Yeah, to download the next path, and then $20 to get the final path. Whereas I would have had to pay an extra $40 US to get the other game, plus shipping, and then an extra $20 to download.
Yeah, no, that's it's reasonable if if you want to go digital, that's perfectly fine as well. Just I don't know. To me, it just seems weird to have part of the game on the card and part of it downloaded. It just doesn't quite work in my mind. But oh well.
I'd kind of hope it's all on the card, and all it is just like an
unlock.
To unlock it.
Not this on-cartridge DLC that you are campaigning for. The internet will hate you.
Shit.
Well, speaking of not giving a shit...
The stupidest thing to whine about on DLC. It's like, look, I get it, but, if it's going to be more than what the base game was... I'm sorry, I'm ranting.
It's fine.
Happy!
Speaking of... What were we speaking of? I can't remember.
People being whining little bitches.
And people not giving a shit, in the case of the developer. Kensuke Tanabe was on the Nintendo Direct talking about Metro Prime Federation Force and how it's really not that bad, you guys.
I felt so sorry for him. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I know you're making a good game. I'm sorry for all the idiots who just are being big entitled crybabies about it.
Like, I had my questions about it when it was announced. I wasn't super excited or anything, but I didn't really feel the need to go like, oh, what a garbage game, how dare they release it under Metroid. But it seems like that voice was very much heard by the developers themselves, and so they felt the need to not quite apologize, but more just kind of explain themselves and try and gain back goodwill, which, I don't know, for me it looks, from what they showed some game footage and their, the path of how they got to this point of how they were initially thinking of the game to be a DSiWare game or just a DSi game. Then they realized it wasn't powerful enough, and then the new 3DS happened, which is more powerful and it has a C-stick, and they're like, cool, let's give this a try again. And, I mean, it looks decent. You've got, all your different classes, and it's sort of a cooperative, almost RPG-ish sort of game from a, first-person shooter's perspective, which is kind of neat.
I think one of the big problems with Metroid as a franchise is every other one of Nintendo's franchise is sort of very... Is malleable the word I'm looking for in terms of storyline? Like, there is a timeline for Zelda, but, you can put in a new Zelda game anyway and look, it's a new Link. Every Metroid game's been the same Samus.
Yeah.
So there's only so many stories you can tell with her. And I think it's cool that they've got, there is like the the Galactic Federation, whatever the hell they're called. So I think it's cool having a game played from their point of view.
I think
just to sort of flesh everything out.
The thing that I reckon was, impacted things the most is in the past we've had weird Metroid spin-offs. We've had Metroid Pinball, for crying out loud. We've had, a bunch of other stuff that I can't remember off the top of my head. But it didn't really... Huh? Oh, yeah, Hunters. Yeah, that's another example. But it didn't really matter because they came out either alongside or, near to other full-on, regular Metroid games. And I guess people have been crying out for a Metroid game for years and years now, and it's just, I don't know, it's harder for a lot of people to accept it because there's no regular Metroid game to say, oh, it's cool to have a spin-off, but here's the main thing that I really want. But at the same time, I don't think...
Other M was 6 years ago now.
Yeah, and it's questionable whether a lot of people consider that to be even, worthy of the name.
So just for time and all that,
yes.
Super Metroid came out in 94. Metroid Fusion and Metroid Prime came out in 2002, 6 years later. So we're almost 6 years later from Metroid Other M.
Yeah, I do remember looking that up.
The gap's been almost as long.
We're sort of... I remember a couple of years ago thinking, yeah, but they waited longer for Metroid Fusion after Super Metroid, and now we hit that point again.
My math sucks. That was 8 years. This has been 6.
Well, we're getting close. Getting there. But still,
I mean, yeah, look, I do get that, there hasn't been any other Metroid games since Other M, and that could be a bit upsetting to people, that this is the Metroid. But, maybe this is just sort of them as reintroducing Metroid back into the scheme of things. Like, we still don't know what Retro is working on.
Yeah, and I mean,
and it totally makes sense to go, hey, look, we've got a new game system. Do you reckon you can make a Metroid Prime for the launch of that system so we can get all the hardcore gamers?
Man, don't get my high excited hopes up. But I mean, I don't mind that this game exists. I do feel like the backlash to it was unnecessary. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I'm sure I'll grab it when it comes out, and I'm sure it'll be a bit of fun. Who knows? It might be great. It might be awful, but that, I feel like I should judge it on its merits, not based on it not being Metroid Prime.
I honestly think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, looking at the footage, I mean, that looks really good. The 3DS has, outside of the Renegade Kid remakes, has 0 first-person shooters. And this sort of and I'm not going to say Metroid Prime's a first-person shooter, but...
you shoot things from the first person.
Yeah. So this feels a niche that there isn't already on for any games that there aren't on the 3DS.
And I mean, it does look much more combat oriented than than a typical Metroid Prime game. You've got a lot more combat and cooperative combat and stuff like that.
I gotta say, my sole gripe about it is the art style. I think the chibi art style's totally not right for Metroid.
It's probably to do with the limitations of the 3DS, but I agree as well. It just doesn't seem... It seems weird in a, somewhat, pretty, serious and dark series to be like, we've got little cute, super deformed chibi people.
Well, it's like, Jet Force Gemini how they completely redid the art style for that.
Yeah.
Halfway through. It looks like what that looked like before, really chibified, and it's kind of ugly, guys. I don't mind the robots looking that you guys are riding around and having big heads or whatever. That's cool. But then when the troopers get out, they've got big heads that look like Nendroids. So I'm like, no.
Why don't they just make it Nendoroid Federation Force?
Oh my god.
They could put amiibo chips in the bottom of Nendoroids. Anyway, in the interest of time,
the Kirby one.
Speaking of the Kirby one, Planet Robobobot.
That was totally
I'm wonderful. Planet Robobobot is a new Kirby game where Kirby is in a Robobobot, and it's great. It looks I sort of we don't know too much about it apart from it having amiibo and Kirby being able to get into robots that look a lot like the power armor suits in Mega Man X, which is kind of exciting.
Yes.
And it's a new Kirby game.
Battle Suit Mecha Kirby Go.
So I mean, we've Kirby's. How long ago was Triple Deluxe? A little while ago.
2 years ago now? 2, 3? No, 2. Yeah, it was last year.
Long enough that I feel like a Kirby game is due. Seems weird saying that after Metroid, but still, it does. It's nice to have a new Kirby game.
We had the Power Paintbrush thing last year.
Oh yes, yeah. I forgot that existed. I need to get that.
I haven't even played it.
But yeah, no, it's coming out on 3DS, and it looks like it's sort of visually kind of similar to Triple Deluxe, but obviously with all the robot stuff, and Yeah.
Oh, it's totally the same engine.
The one thing that go on.
There you go.
Oh, I was just going to go on to the amiibos that are releasing alongside it as well. It's weird. Most of them already exist as Smash Bros. Amiibo, but they look awesome, so I'll probably get them again. You've got like a Kirby and a Meta Knight and King Dedede who already exist, and then a little Waddle Dee hanging out in a cloud. I need that one.
The actual amiibo functionality for this game sort of goes to more not just the Kirby amiibos. Like if you tap the Mario amiibo on the game while you're playing it, Kirby will get like the fire ability, or if you tap the Link one, he'll get the sword ability.
It sounds it's a little bit really like cool. What was the game where you could tap amiibo and it would unlock outfits and costumes? Maybe I'm thinking of Mario Maker, but it's sort of along those lines. Yeah. No. But yeah, it's a neat thing. I mean, amiibo functionality is as much as I have a lot of amiibo, I almost never use their functionality. I don't really care. No. But it's a way for me to justify spending money on dumb plastic that I don't really need.
I've just really gotten into the latest version of Disney Infinity, and I actually want to buy all the figurines for it because I enjoy playing with them in the game. Whereas amiibos, I buy because they look really good.
Yeah, they're collection things rather than tools or unlocking keys.
Speaking of amiibo, not that it was in the rundown. Did you see the Mario Donkey Kong amiibo game?
No, because that was only in the US one, was it?
Oh, what? Okay, that wasn't in the UK one.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that was US only at some point.
I'm trying to. Oh god, just give me a minute. Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. So the way this sort of works is the game itself is free.
Okay.
But you need amiibos to play it. And it primarily works with the Mario series amiibos. So Luigi, Donkey Kong, Bowser, Mario, and all that.
Yeah.
And you tap one on, and then you unlock like a series of levels based on that character.
Okay.
Whereas if you tap any other amiibo, it just unlocks like some generic levels to play through.
So it's kind of almost a little bit, a very little bit like Disney Infinity, where you have the things that unlock actual game levels to play that'll go along with the character rather than just being a little power up or something.
Yeah. So, and I mean, it's the total, the usual Lemmings style play of the Mario and Donkey Kong games with amiibos now. So, I mean, that's really cool. I'm happy that there is a sort of new that they are doing something with amiibos now that reward people who've bought them other than just you can unlock extra costumes or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
I think Nintendo's been very hesitant to have games locked behind amiibos, but you're at the point now where enough people have them.
I mean, at this point, you're not paying for the game up front, so it's just you can sort of look at it as a game that's locked behind amiibo, or you can look at it as a thing that makes your amiibo more useful than they were before. It's really a matter of perspective, I guess.
So, I mean, this is actually already out in Japan, I think, and I'm not sure how many levels are in it, but it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, well, I hope that comes here. Reading up about it, it looks like it's only been confirmed for North America, so surely it'll come here.
I can't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On to more Mario-related bits and pieces. A new Paper Mario game is almost not really a surprise at this point, but we've got Paper Mario Color Splash, which is coming to the Wii U.
It looks just like Sticker Star, and I don't like it. I want 1,000 Year Door 2, please.
Well, I do want 1,000 Year Door 2, please, but Color Splash is what we have, so let's see what that's like.
It looks adorable. Just how good does like the whole like cardboard and paper and all of that look in glorious HD?
Yeah.
Says someone who's not played Tearaway on the PS4.
Oh, neither have I, but it looked nice on the Vita. But still, it's Paper Mario with a new gimmick this time, I guess. So if you didn't like Sticker Star, it probably won't appeal to you, but I'm sure there's people out there that like it. There must be people that like it because they wouldn't keep making them. It's just clearly not, hardcore gamers.
And it's one of the 5 games coming to Wii U this year, so you might want to buy it.
Yeah, one every couple of months. Just sure is the GameCube too.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
I think it looks perfectly fine. I really enjoyed Sticker Star. Actually, Sticker Star is the only Paper Mario game I finished. Huh.
Fancy that.
And, I really enjoyed Sticker Star. I felt it was a perfectly acceptable game. This looks like more of the same, so yay.
Yeah, I mean, to give a tiny bit of a description, as far as I can tell, you have a paint hammer. So I guess when you hit things, color comes back, and you have to bring color to the residents of Prism Island because their home is black and white for some reason. I don't know. It's an excuse to...
Bowser probably stole it all.
Yeah, with his color-stealing gun that vacuum.
That bastard.
Yeah, he's always taking our colour.
Wasn't that the plot of De Blob?
Yes. Anyway, that's Paper Mario. I've got not much else to say unless you've got more.
Looked really good. The game, the news of the game actually leaked a few months earlier. I think Emily Rogers was tweeting about that it's apparently in development.
It was in sort of her final blaze of glory before quitting Twitter.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, that's like, she was sort of, for anyone who doesn't know, she was sort of a prominent person in the Nintendo games coverage scene, I guess. She worked on Nintendo Force, I think.
Does she still report on Nintendo for some site?
No, I think she had to, had to quit Twitter as a result of a new job, from what I understand. And yeah, to sort of the last couple of tweets before she deleted her account were just sort of getting a lot of things off her chest about Nintendo. One of them was Paper Mario, and a couple of others were controversial things about Nintendo indie games and the like. But
it's a shame. She seemed quite knowledgeable about it. And
yes.
Apparently, she also hinted at our Mother 3 might be coming out soon.
Yeah, I think that was part of the reason why she sort of got out of Twitter, because she made a very subtle hint and then people were just screeching at her about it. So it was the straw that broke the camel's back, from what I understand. Anyway.
Actually, speaking of leaking, this whole Direct basically leaked.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know it would be. When it leaked, I wasn't sure if it was legit, but it turns out it really was. So with that, there's a lot more to cover, but I need to give my voice a rest and have a glass of water. So we'll be back in a few moments. And we're back. And we're back. And we're back. I'll choose one of those to go with. But yes, so there's a whole bunch more news to go through, so don't go away. I should have said that before the break. But yes, there's finally a release date for that. Well, it's Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, or as in Japan it was called Jine Ibun Roku Sharp FE. I hope I'm saying that right.
I tip my hat to you for that.
I try. But yeah, it's got an English localized name now, and it's going to be known as Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE.
So can I just blow your mind on something for a second?
Go.
Tokyo Mirage Session. Take the first letters of all of those words.
Wait, put them backwards.
Yep.
Hey. Hey. That's cool. Well, I'm glad we came to that mind-blowing realization right now.
I hope that was intentional. I really do.
But now we know that it is definitely coming out in English, which I've been kind of hanging out to hear some sort of confirmation on. And it's coming in to Australia on the 25th of June, so it's a little while away, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks from how they described it, it was like an Atlas RPG, which, if you've played Shin Megami Tensei or Persona or any one of their games, you've probably got an idea of what you'd be in for there. And it is sort of focused around a group of pop idols, and they sing and fight things. I don't really know what's going on, but it sounds...
It looks super fun.
It looks amazing. I'm all about the visual style for it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what else there is really to say about it, but
well, it has been confirmed that we're only going to be having the Japanese vocal track, which they said it was so that it would be authentic to the original experience, which I guess would keeps the censorship brigade at bay. But at the same time, I'm sure it's a lot cheaper to do that as well. And for a game like this, I can't imagine, it's going to have a niche audience on a niche platform. So I can completely understand that they do it, a little bit cheaper. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't even started playing Xenoblade X yet, but this looks like a ton of fun. And I'm a huge fan of the SMT games. I'm pretty sure I've played all but one on the 3DS at the moment. So
nice.
More of this is completely welcome.
I need to play more SMT. I've played a bunch of Persona, but haven't gone back to SMT games. But this could be a fun way to jump into a kind of SMT game. Not really, but it could be fun.
Yeah, not really. It doesn't look as dark.
It doesn't look like I'm gonna just have horrible thoughts at the end of it.
Yeah, SMT can be depressing.
But anyway, that's a thing. June 25th, get hype or something, as they say.
And I mean, like the Wii U lineup's pretty sparse this year, but that's probably one of, like, what have we got? We got Pokken, we got Star Fox, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, and then Zelda Wii U. So that's all we sort of really know of from Nintendo at this stage.
And do we even know that Zelda's coming out this year?
It's coming out this year.
We'll see. Anyway, on to the next thing. They had some more information about Hyrule Warriors Legends, the 3DS. Not really a remake, it's not really a port, it's just kind of a version of Hyrule Warriors with a whole bunch of new stuff. And it'll have even more new stuff with a season pass and 4 waves of DLC. I don't think they've... Yeah, go on.
No, so I'm excited. I've played a little bit of the Wii U one. I think when it came out and we talked about it on the podcast, I played probably 5 minutes. I did the first mission and I'm like, yeah, this is fun. I could see myself playing more of this, and then on to other stuff. But playing on the system I play all the time, I would probably definitely be getting to it. And I've just only started getting into the sort of Dynasty Warriors games, playing Dragon Quest Heroes.
Ah, yes, yeah. So if you've been enjoying that, this will be right up your alley.
Yeah, and, being able to play as Linkle, I don't know. Actually, Skull Kid probably...
And kind of exciting to me is they announced that Medley's coming to both versions of Hyrule Warriors. And for anyone who doesn't remember, that was the bird girl. I don't quite know how to describe, but she was a girl with a beak and she played an instrument in Wind Waker that I can't remember off the top of my head.
A harp?
Probably.
Yes, she's a Ruto and plays a harp. I want to play as the kid who had the snot coming out of his nose.
I want to play as Makar, the little leaf man.
Yes.
He was great.
You know what? Just give us the whole cast of Wind Waker.
Of every single Zelda game ever. Just put them all in there, please.
Beetle. Let me play as Beetle.
Heck yes.
Oh, hi!
Hey! Well, yes, that's Hyrule Warriors. I don't think there's much else to say there. One that was kind of exciting for me, after they had previously mentioned that their Splatoon was kind of finished, they'd had all their updates done, there's more coming. They didn't announce that it would be any more maps or weapons or anything like that, but it's more like adjustments to matchmaking, balancing out weapons to make sure that they're all fair, and something to do with changing how Splatfests work, which is kind of interesting. So, I mean, I'm happy that Splatoon is the game that keeps on giving.
Cool.
Do you agree?
Yeah, look, I haven't played Splatoon for a couple of months, but, I really enjoy it. It's an amazing game, and more stuff to it is always good.
I mean, yeah, every time they add more stuff to it, that's usually when I go back and give it another go, and they just keep making me go back.
I honestly don't think we'll be seeing new maps or weapons coming to it.
Yeah, I feel like they've probably got as many as they will.
Look, I think Nintendo knows that they know they're on a winner with Splatoon. So I imagine any work that would be happening to Splatoon now would be on the sequel.
Yeah, it's all very...
I would not be surprised if that was an NX launch title.
Oh gosh, I hope so. But like, yeah, it's all everything that they announced was very sort of just adjustments and making what was already there a little bit better. And one thing I forgot to mention was there's now going to be Sheldon's Picks, which is Sheldon is the
Bazinga! Sorry.
Yes, that's Sheldon, who you buy guns from. Yeah, he's going to have sort of interesting weapon combinations that either it'll be showing off ones that are extremely popular and also some that are a bit less popular that people might want to try. And yeah, that seems like a fun way to do things because, you know, you can go through and try and customize weapons to get the specific like sub weapons and special abilities that you want, but it's very difficult to do. And this might be a way to experiment with more different sub weapons and stuff without having to go through the grinding for seashells and all that jazz. So yeah, could be fun. Could be a way to, you know, switch up the game, the weapons that keep appearing in ranked matches.
You know, I actually honestly think that they probably also might be working on Splatoon for 3DS.
Maybe.
I mean, look, Splatoon is huge in Japan.
Yeah.
On a system that's not doing that well. So imagine if they put it on the most successful system this generation in Japan.
If they could put it on 3DS, that'd be wonderful.
Well,
I question.
I don't think it would be exactly like, you know, my idea for Splatoon on the 3DS would be more of a sort of a 3/4 view sort of style game where, you know, using the Mario 3D Land engine.
Oh, okay, that kind of perspective.
Have it sort of like a fixed perspective sort of thing, and using maybe make it sort of like a twin stick shooter sort of style of play.
That could be interesting. I guess, yeah, if that was to happen, that would be a reasonable way to do it. Cool. Well, that's Splatoon.
It's Squid now.
Yes, we can be squids and kids, and now we can be squids who have rhythm in a paradise that is a mega mix, which is coming out. I'm very excited.
I just bow to your...
that was horrible.
Transitional skills.
But yeah, Rhythm Paradise Mega Mix, that's confirmed to be coming later on this year, which, if you don't know, the Rhythm Paradise games, or you might know them as Rhythm Heaven in the US and Rhythm Tengoku in Japan, and they are just a bunch of ridiculous, small, sort of like rhythm mini games, kind of akin to WarioWare, but each game lasts a little bit longer, and you know, you go through a song, tapping buttons in time with the music to make fun things happen on the screen. And yeah, it's super fun. Definitely hunt down the Wii version if you haven't tried it. That's probably the cheapest way to jump into it at this point. I
heard the DS version wasn't that well received.
I think
it's good, but not as good as the originals or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the first one to actually come out locally. The original one was on GBA and never got localized, so I don't know. I never really played too much of it, but yeah, it's definitely on. The one that's coming out on 3DS has 100 games, 30 of which are new. So that obviously means that 70 are, you know, it's coming from. It has some from the original GBA one that never came out outside of Japan, which is kind of exciting, and then a bunch of them from the Wii and DS games, and 30 brand new ones. So that's, you know, I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. Yep.
Yeah, but more games for the 3DS is not bad.
Yeah, totally. And I don't think this was was this one in the Direct?
Pocket Jockey?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Okay, I must have not been paying attention to this moment. But
maybe it wasn't in the... I mean, I watched the US stream, you watched the UK one. So, I mean, there were some differences, like you got an amazing dance from
Satoru Shibata.
NOE about Yoko Watch. You know, that gif of all ages. That
hunt that down on YouTube if you haven't seen it. The Satoru Shibata Yoko Watch dance. It's wonderful.
And you guys also got a pretty good indie third-party sizzle reel. Nintendo US got nothing on that.
Oh, okay.
So, I didn't even know that there was all this indie stuff coming out until someone pointed out to me, oh, no, they did do something for the UK stream. I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, Pocket Card Jockey is something that was announced. I don't quite fully understand, so can you give us a rundown of what you think it might be?
So, I don't know exactly, but it looks like you get horses, and they all have individual stats, and you make them run faster by playing a game of solitaire.
Yeah,
while they're running.
We should also probably mention that it's by Game Freak of, you know, Drill Dozer and Pokemon and Harmonite?
Harmonite.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's who the director is, the director of Harmonite and Tembo the Badass Elephant. So I wouldn't be surprised if because he's like a Westerner in the studio, and he seems to be pushing for them to do new, different ideas that aren't just Pokemon. So you play solitaire to make your horse race, and then it'll improve its stats, and then eventually you can put the horse out to breed and make better horses.
I thought you were going to say out to like not be a horse anymore. Yeah.
No, you can go. You can rest now. Go make baby horses for me to breed and do with as I wish.
I'll play solitaire at you until you win.
It's a completely insane and bizarre idea, but oh my god, I want that now. I was just looking at it, I'm like, this looks amazing.
Yeah, just the very concept has me I want to know how this works. Like, it might be good, it might be bad, but it's just interesting enough that I really have to see what it is.
What are you? I need to play you.
Well, if you want a bit more of an idea of what it is, it's really hard to describe. There is a trailer, so you could probably find that on Nintendo's channel, or it's in the Vookcast news article about it, so give that a squiz if you're interested.
And the horses look adorable.
They do. Everything looks adorable. It looks like weird little toad people on horses, except they don't have the toad hat on.
Those are called jockeys.
They're people. The same. They just have very small toad hats without the spots.
Okay. So, yeah. That, out of the most unexpected thing to come out in the whole trailer, it's just, the whole direct.
Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing what that is. Apparently it's coming out in May, so hold out for that. Until then...
May!
And the last bit of news we've got to cover today, which is not from that direct, but from a direct 1 or 2 weeks prior.
1 week.
That there was a 5-minute Nintendo Direct at 2 a.m. if you're in the eastern states, or like 11 o'clock in Western Australia. It's very late, but it was 5 minutes of talking about how much everyone loves Pokemon and how long it's been around, and gosh, they wasted a lot of time of a 5-minute thing announcing nothing. But then at the end, they properly announced Pokemon Sun and Moon, which had been completely and thoroughly leaked the day before. Yeah, we'd seen logos and everything, so whoops. But yeah, that's been confirmed. I think they showed off a couple of new Pokemon. It's coming out towards the end of this year.
We saw some really rough sort of 3D models, like wireframe models, which you couldn't make anything out of. I mean, look, this is obviously something they could say for E3 and go, here is everything about it.
Yeah, totally. Like, I figure they just had to do something for the 20th anniversary, and this is probably what they had to show.
They also had, I've lost what I was talking about now. But it was, I actually think that whole build-up about how much Pokemon is what Pokemon has done and all the games and the history, and both you and I have been around since it started, and it's just like, wow, we've come so far since Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Kids have it so easy these days with no link cables.
And they spent an awful amount of time going, we've now added Chinese as a dialect.
Yeah, or not just Chinese, but both traditional and simplified Chinese.
Yes.
I'm not sure if...
I'm all for that. I'm all for making games more inclusive, making more people play it, and I guess that's a big thing. Like, I think Nintendo's been trying to crack... Well, they have been trying to crack into the Chinese market for a very long time.
Because until recently, a lot of specific forms of game were banned in Japan, or not Japan, in China. And I think, now that they can release games there, they're sort of really trying to get into that market. And it's very good that our Chinese friends will be able to play Pokemon alongside the rest of the world. Yes. I'm just glad I didn't have to wake up at 2 a.m. to find out about that.
Yes. And also the other thing that was announced was during that direct was the virtual console versions of Red, Blue, and Yellow Pokemon you get on that, you'll be able to store in your Pokemon box.
Oh yeah, the Pokemon Bank.
Pokemon Bank and transfer them over to Sun and Moon when they come out. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Like I was thinking about how that's going to work because all the stats were entirely different in the first generation. Like you only had one special stat; it wasn't split into special attack and defense, and there were certain moves that are different in the new generations. But when I thought about it, you were able to move your stuff over from red, blue, yellow onto gold, silver. So they probably do the same thing they did back then and just have some weird calculation to work it all out. So yeah, it's kind of neat. Like I haven't gone out and bought the red, blue, yellow because I don't know. It's very exciting, but at the same time, I've got so many games to play that I didn't play 20 years ago. So it's not all about that.
We'll get around to getting yellow sooner or later. I'm hoping also that they do like silver, gold, and crystal later this year as well.
That'd be neat, and especially if you can transfer stuff all the way up to the new Sun and Moon. It's a cool way to do it. So yeah, that's pretty well the news for today. Nothing I've forgotten that you can think of?
Not Nintendo Theme Park will be opening up in 2020 at Osaka Universal Studios. If people want to start booking flights now,
get on that. Yeah, that definitely wasn't part of a direct, but that was announced pretty recently, which is pretty exciting. Like, because that was they'd previously talked about doing a deal with Universal Studios to do something of a theme park. So this is sort of expanding on that.
So that's cool.
Apparently spending
also,
about sort of 500 million Australian equivalent in getting it all up and running.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I've been to Universal Osaka and it's not a bad place. So having that in addition to like all the Harry Potter stuff and the Jurassic Park stuff, that's going to be a really fun place to go to. Just waiting for Monita to introduce everyone into the.
Oh my god! Yes, please. Monita for Smash.
Is that Google Maps thing still ongoing or is that finished?
I think that's happening. Google Maps has Link in it now. You might have probably noticed it if you use Google Maps at all. Like I had friends talk to me the other day. They're like, "Oh, I opened up Google Maps the other day, and Link was in there. That was real weird." But yeah, so that's a thing.
Does he actually do anything in it, or if he just? How does it work with him?
I think Link just sort of replaces the little man in the like street view section. Like, how you place the little person to sort of see where you're going to look from. I think that just becomes the Link now for a specific period of time, which is kind of neat. It's interesting that Nintendo are doing so many little deals with Google and Google Maps specifically, and Pokemon Go, and Google and Nintendo are good friends, it seems.
Yay!
Well, I think that is that. Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about it for today. So yeah, we'll have a quick break and come back and sort everything out. Welcome back, friends. We are here. We're going to finish everything off and let you know what's been going on the site, because it's been a while and there's actually lots of things going on the website with all these anniversaries and indie games and fun stuff happening. So yeah, as far as reviews go, we've got on there at the moment, there's reviews of the Virtual Console versions of Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow, if that's something that tickles your fancy. Couple of indie games, Temple of Yog, and that's up there at the moment, and Ghost Star is coming up very soon, which is it's a Wii U indie game coming out fairly soon that was featured in that Nintendo Direct indie reel. There's the Mega Man Legacy Collection on 3DS, which I'm finishing up now, so that should be up pretty soon. And then from James, who you might remember from past episodes, he's still around. He's reviewing, I don't know how he does this all, but he's reviewing Bravely Second, Project Cross Zone 2, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, whatever the most recent one is that I can't remember the name of. I don't know how he has that many hours in the day, but he's going to work on those and get reviews up whenever he can. yeah, in addition to that, with all the Pokemon anniversaries that were happening, there were a bunch of feature articles up about our favorite Pokemon, our favorite games, our favorite spin-offs, a whole bunch of things to make you think back and get all nostalgic about Pokemon. So they're a fun thing to read if you're interested. And yeah, apart from that, that's about all that's going on. We've got content going up on YouTube occasionally. Like Daniel's touching is good. He's working on some projects, as far as I can tell.
Yes. The last episode was sort of a bust. I just couldn't get it together the way I wanted to. But I am working on a new episode. But as with most stuff I seem to do, it's become a lot larger than I intended. So
I think that's how video works.
Yeah, probably not going to come
ridiculous.
out until around May-ish. I'm doing a rather large series of games, and around the time I want to have the episode up around the time of the anniversary of the series. So yeah, that's coming soon. If people follow my Twitter, they probably might be able to figure out what the series is, because I'm posting screenshots every now and then of them.
And also, as well as that, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Just look for Vookcast.net. It's usually VOOKSDOTNET, and that's pretty much what we are everywhere on the internet.
Stephen, if people want to follow you on Twitter...
Oh, me?
Yes.
Well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. It's a thing, some people do it. I am at Stephen Impson. And what if people want to follow you on Twitter, Daniel, and hear all about their wonderful projects you're working on?
I'm at Worth Nintendo.
And we'll have the links in the show notes just in case you're not sure how to spell either of our names. And so, yeah, I think that's about it for today. So with that, I'll wrap things all up and say goodbye. I hope everyone has a fun time until next time. Goodbye, friends.
Bye.